Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. We've got some really interesting stuff to dig into today. We're going to be talking about SharePoint Online and Power Apps
Yeah.
and how these can work together to streamline business processes. So you gave us some really excellent materials, and I've already started looking through them, and I'm excited to dive deeper.
Great.
So tell me from your perspective, what are we hoping to get out of this deep dive today? What are the kind of key takeaways?
Well, the real magic is when we bring these two platforms together, right? We can create custom solutions that just fit perfectly, tailored to specific needs. And I think the other big thing is automation. Like, imagine saving so much time by automating a lot of those tedious processes.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. You mentioned that things are a little scattered across different systems right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe we should start with the foundation SharePoint Online. What is it, and why should we care about it?
Okay, so SharePoint Online, it's basically Microsoft's cloud-based platform. And it's for everything, creating content, managing it, sharing it. You can think of it like a digital hub,
Yeah.
You store your documents there, collaborate with your team, keep everything organized. And the best part is it's bundled with Microsoft 365.
Oh, so no need to purchase any separate software.
Exactly.
And I'm assuming because it's cloud-based, you can access it from anywhere,
Yeah.
which is a huge deal these days.
Absolutely. I mean, that's essential for the way we work today. That flexibility is so important. And in fact, one of the sources you gave me mentioned that Company X, I won't name them specifically, but they significantly reduced their IT costs and improved data security by moving their file storage to SharePoint Online.
That's a pretty compelling case right there.
Oh, absolutely.
So SharePoint Online, it's our foundation, handles document management, collaboration, all that good stuff. But let's bring in the heavy hitter, the customization tool, Power Apps. What makes it so special?
PowerApps, it's all about empowering you, right?
Yeah.
You can create custom apps without needing to be a coding genius.
Right.
It's like having this visual toolbox, You can drag, drop, connect different elements, build solutions that fit your specific needs. No need to be a programmer.
I read that Power Apps can be used to automate workflows, connect to different data sources, and even design mobile-friendly apps. That's quite a lot.
It is. It's incredibly versatile. You're right. One of your sources actually highlighted a company that used PowerApps to automate their expense reporting process. They went from this old, clunky, paper-based system to a user-friendly app that talks directly to SharePoint.
So we're not just talking about fancy apps.
No.
We're talking about real, tangible improvements to efficiency and productivity.
Exactly. And that's really just scratching the surface.
So this is where I get really intrigued.
Yeah.
Tell me more about what happens when we combine SharePoint Online and Power Apps. What are the possibilities?
Okay, so imagine you need a custom inventory management system. You can build an app with Power Apps that seamlessly integrates with SharePoint's document libraries, the lists, everything. You can track inventory in real time, manage orders, generate reports, all in one platform, all intuitive and easy to use.
Wow. That would certainly solve the inventory challenges that you mentioned in your notes.
Oh, for sure.
It sounds like this dynamic duo can really target specific business needs.
It absolutely can. And, it's not just custom solutions. You also get enhanced data management. SharePoint's a powerful data store, but Power Apps gives you a user-friendly way to interact with all that data. We're talking intuitive forms, interfaces that make data entry and retrieval super easy.
So instead of wrestling with spreadsheets and complex databases, you have a simple, visually appealing way to manage your data.
It is. And it's not just about aesthetics. It's about giving everyone in your organization the ability to access and interact with that data effectively.
Okay, so we've got custom solutions, enhanced data management. What else can we do with this powerful combination? We were just talking about how Power Apps can make data management more user-friendly.
Right.
But what about those workflows? Those tedious processes that we'd love to automate. You mentioned those earlier.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So combining Power Apps with Power Automate, that can be a real game changer. Think about it like this. You upload a document to a SharePoint library, and then boom, Power Automate can trigger this whole chain of events. Like maybe it creates tasks in Microsoft Teams, updates records in other systems, sends notifications to the right people.
So instead of manually managing all of those steps, You can just have it all happen automatically.
Exactly. It just takes care of itself. And it also reduces the risk of human error. One of your sources actually mentioned a company that saw a significant decrease in processing errors.
Yeah.
And a noticeable increase in overall efficiency just by using this combination.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
And it sounds like teamwork also gets a boost.
Oh, definitely. Because, think about it, you can build custom project management apps with PowerApps and host them right on SharePoint. So your team has this central hub where they can assign tasks, track progress, share files, communicate, everything.
You even mentioned wanting a better way to visualize project timelines.
Yeah.
Could something like this help with that?
For sure. So SharePoint lists, you can actually customize them to display as Gantt charts.
Oh, wow.
Which makes it super easy to see project timelines, dependencies, progress, all at a glance.
So no more juggling separate project management tools or confusing spreadsheets.
Exactly.
It's all right there in SharePoint.
Yep, all in one place.
That's great for collaboration, clarity, everything.
Absolutely. And it's not just about managing projects,
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned some pain points around onboarding new employees. Well, PowerApps can help with that too. You can create a personalized onboarding experience, guiding new hires through the process step by step.
Yeah, one of the sources mentioned a company that built an onboarding app, and they reduced their new hire paperwork by 50%.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And it's not just about less paperwork, right? A good onboarding app can give new hires easy access to training materials, company policies, important contacts, all in this user-friendly interface.
It sounds like we're moving away from that overwhelming feeling of information overload.
Yes.
And towards a more structured, supportive onboarding experience.
Exactly. It's about setting new hires up for success right from the start.
So we've seen how this dynamic duo can be used to manage inventory, streamline workflows, enhance collaboration, improve the onboarding process. But I'm curious about all the data and documents we're storing in SharePoint.
Right.
How can we make sure all of that is organized and easily accessible?
Okay, so that's where SharePoint's lists and libraries come in. They're kind of like the foundation for organizing your information. But the real power comes from customizing them to fit your specific needs.
I remember reading about customizing lists and libraries in the material you provided.
Yeah.
I have to admit, some of those terms felt a little jargony, like metadata columns and conditional formatting.
I know, right? Those terms can be a bit intimidating at first,
Yeah.
but they're actually quite simple once you get the hang of them. So think of metadata columns like tags.
Okay.
You add them to your documents or list items. So let's say you have a library full of marketing materials. You could add metadata columns for like campaign name, target audience, document type. Makes it way easier to find and filter the specific documents you need.
Oh, so it's like adding extra layers of organization on top of the basic soldier structure?
Exactly. That's a great way to think about it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about conditional formatting? What is that?
So conditional formatting, it's basically a visual way to highlight important information. You mentioned that it's sometimes difficult to identify overdue tasks quickly.
Yes, that's a big one.
Well, with conditional formatting, you can set up rules that automatically flag those tasks in red, for example.
Okay.
They just jump out at you.
So it's like a visual alert system.
It is. It helps you stay on top of things, much more effective than having to scan through a list manually.
Right.
It's about making the information work for you, not the other way around.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got metadata columns and conditional formatting. What other customization options are there for lists and libraries?
Well, you can create custom views. This lets you filter, sort, and group your data in different ways. So, for example, you need to see all the tasks assigned to a specific team member. Create a view for that.
Oh.
Or maybe you want to focus on documents related to a particular project. Easy, create a view.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then there are those different view types, like calendar views and Gantt views.
Right. Tell me more about those.
So calendar views are great for visualizing events or deadlines. If your list has date fields, you can switch to a calendar view and see everything laid out in a familiar format. And as we talked about earlier, Gantt views are perfect for those project timelines and dependencies.
It sounds like these different views provide a lot of flexibility in how you interact with and analyze your data.
Absolutely. And we haven't even talked about custom forms yet. That's where PowerApps really shines.
Okay, I'm ready to dive into custom forms. Tell me everything. We were just about to dive into the world of custom forms.
Right.
Remind me again why these are so important.
Okay, so think about it this way. Those standard SharePoint forms, they can be kind of clunky, right?
Yeah.
They feel very generic. But with custom forms built with PowerApps, you can create these sleek, user-friendly interfaces. And they're tailored to your specific workflow.
So we're talking about more than just making things look pretty.
Yeah, exactly.
We're actually improving that user experience and making data entries smoother and more efficient.
That's the goal. You can add things like conditional logic, so certain fields might only appear if specific conditions are met, or dynamic fields that automatically populate based on other entries. You can even pull data from other systems.
Oh, wow. You mentioned earlier that PowerApps can connect to a wide range of data sources. How does that actually work in practice?
Okay, let's say you're building a customer support app. You could integrate it with your CRM system, pull in real-time customer data, see past interactions, even update customer records, all from within the app.
So that's much more efficient than having to constantly switch between systems or manually copy and paste information.
Exactly, it's all connected. And it's not just about pulling in data, you can push data to other systems as well. Imagine a sales team using a mobile app to record orders, right there in the field. With integration, that data could automatically flow into your inventory management system. No more manual updates or delays.
My mind is officially blown. We've gone from customizing lists and libraries to building entire custom ecosystem.
It is pretty incredible, right?
I'm starting to see the true potential here. And it's all within reach, even for those of us who aren't coding experts.
Exactly. And you mentioned earlier that developers can use that SPFX for advanced customizations, but there's still plenty that we non-developers can do.
Right. One thing I would suggest people look into is templates and pre-built components. PowerApps has a whole library of these. It can be a great starting point for your custom solutions.
So even if we don't have coding experience, we can still leverage the work of others and build upon those foundations.
Absolutely. It's a great way to accelerate your development process and really tap into some creative solutions.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We've learned so much about SharePoint Online, PowerApps, and all the amazing things you can do when you combine them. Before we wrap up, I want to bring it back to you for a moment.
Okay.
We've covered a ton of possibilities, but now it's time to get practical.
Yeah.
What specific process are you most excited to tackle first with this dynamic duo?
Ooh, good question. Honestly, after seeing all these examples, I think I'm most excited about revamping our onboarding process. It's been a bit of a pain point for us, and I can really see how a custom app integrated with SharePoint can make a huge difference. That's a fantastic choice. It's a process that can have such a significant impact on new hires and their experience with the company.
Absolutely. And think about all the time and resources we could save by automating some of those manual tasks.
It's exciting to think about all the possibilities. Well, folks, that's it for today's deep dive. We hope you've enjoyed this journey of knowledge and discovery. And remember, the true power of SharePoint and PowerApps lies in your hands. So get out there, get creative, and start building those solutions that'll transform the way you work.